In this tutorial, we'll explore some of the tools available in Photoshop CS6 and use them to create a banner. So let's get started. Now the first thing we want to do is use our photograph that we've already put into our Photoshop file. We're going to add a little bit of color correction to it. We're going to open up our adjustments panel, and what this is going to give us is a variety of options that we can use to create adjustment layers. So the first thing we're going to do is click on brightness and contrast, and it's going to create a new adjustment layer and present a window of sliders that we can use to manipulate this adjustment layer, and that will cause changes to take place to the image on the layer beneath it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to bump up our contrast slider so we can get a little bit more contrast in there between the dark lights and the darks, and then maybe bring down our brightness just a little bit. That's good. Now we're going to go back to our adjustments window again, and we're going to click, this time we're going to click on vibrancy, and this brings up another dialog box with sliders for vibrance and saturation, and this is going to change the color and make it pop a little bit more. So we're going to bring up our vibrancy a little bit. It makes those purples come out a little bit more, and then we're going to bring up saturation so the color is really rich and deep. There you go, that looks much better. Now we're going to drop some text over the top of it. So we're going to grab our text tool out of the tools bar on the side, and we're going to make a text box just like that, and we're going to type Bosse Studios. And that looks good. Now I want to select Bosse and increase the font size on that word only. So I select Bosse and I go over to my character window and I go to the size of the font, and I'm just going to change that to, instead of 100, to 150. So now it's the right size I want it to be. It's much larger than the Studios part. And that's a nice little design for a logo. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to apply a blending effect to this title by right-clicking on the layer in the Layers window and selecting Blending Options. Now here you have a variety of different options that you can use to add effects to your different layers. And for this one specifically, we're just going to do Bevel and Emboss. Now Bevel and Emboss gives you a variety of different options that you can mess around with to get the look that you're going for. So it's really more about trial and error until you get the appearance that you want. I'm going to set it so that it has a harder edged bevel, and I'm going to increase the depth of the bevel effect. And if you watch, you'll notice that shadows start to appear on this as the bevel deepens. And we're going to increase the size of the bevel so that we get a nice three-dimensional feel to it. And now that looks good. So now we've got a three-dimensional beveled font over a nice color-corrected photo, and that's a really nice banner to use. So that concludes our tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.